Space Coast. I'm Rob Landers, and thank you for joining us for our first official Flavor Chat with Rob and Suzy. Again, I'm Rob Landers, and joining me, as always, is Florida Today food editor, Suzy Fleming-Leonard. Suzy?
I'm kind of dancing to that jazzy music.
I know. We have our own theme song now. It's like New Girl. Just Jess. Okay, so I know you've got an interview you've got to get to today, and we have got a lot to talk about. So let's start off with a little bit of breaking news that we have coming from North Brevard. Again, I'm Rob Landers, and joining me, as always, you got to turn that off. The food editor, Suzy Fleming-Leonard.
Well, I'm kind of dancing to that jazzy music.
See, Suzy's messing us up already. She's causing production issues. All right, go ahead.
I thought I was gonna watch and see if people were commenting on the Facebook group, but I didn't realize that I was gonna cause all kinds of issues. So I apologize. First day with new technology.
Yeah. Okay. So Suzy, so our breaking news. You want to get to that, please?
The breaking news.
Yes.
Oh yes. Chipotle is coming to Titusville.
Woohoo!
That I think folks in Titusville are going to be really happy about that. It's coming to Titus Landing. I got an email today from one of the spokespeople with the company, and they plan to be open sometime this fall.
That's awesome. Okay, and as you and I were sitting here, you were waiting for a response from the Chamber of Commerce to try and confirm where. So I just shot Marcia Gadacki a message on Facebook and was like, "Hey, we're hearing this," and she's like, "Yep. That's what we're hearing too." So,
well, that was because I emailed the company and they're like, "Yep, we're coming to Titusville, opening in the fall." That's all I can tell you. And I'm like, "Can you tell me where?" And then nothing.
So I actually sent Marcia a Facebook message and said southeast corner of Titus Landings on US 1, and she said, "Yep, that's what we're hearing." So right over there next to, I think it's Hobby Lobby. Right at that corner, just before you get to Titus Landing. So right there on US 1. So yeah. Okay. So we have got a lot to talk about today. So in addition to, our breaking food news today, we have a new restaurant open in Viera that has a little bit of a flavor of home for you.
Yes, we do.
Let's talk about Walk-Ons.
Walk-Ons. Okay, so I love the story of how Walk-Ons got here. This couple, Courtney and Nate Fowler, they live in Viera, and they had been thinking about opening a restaurant. And Nate is a graduate of UCF. I'm sorry, not UCF. A graduate of Florida State. And so a few years back, Florida State was in a bowl game, and the bowl game was sponsored by this company called Walk-Ons, this restaurant called Walk-Ons. And so Nate was like, that's interesting. So he did a little research, found out what Walk-Ons was. It's based in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And it was started by a couple of guys who were walk-ons to the LSU basketball team. And they wanted to create the perfect sports bar. So this has grown into a franchise. They've got 50, each restaurant is locally owned, but they've got 50 of them across the South right now. And I think in a few other places, but predominantly in the South. And we have our first one in Brevard County that opened last week in Viera. It's very cool. They have gumbo and boudin and jambalaya and all kinds of cool things like that. So
nice. Yeah. Well, I know that there has been a lot of chatter about Walk-Ons in our 321 Flavor Where Brevard Eats Facebook group. And one of the ways that they came up was we had someone ask last week, where is the best place to get bread pudding? I believe that was Miriam McHale asked that in our flavor group, and Walk-Ons keeps coming up as they have a Krispy Kreme bread pudding.
I love Krispy Kreme bread pudding. I love bread pudding, and this is kind of off topic, but I love French toast casserole because to me that's just kind of an excuse to eat bread pudding for breakfast.
Right.
Because it's kind of the same thing.
Right.
But Krispy Kreme donut bread pudding. I mean,
now in addition to the Krispy Kreme bread pudding at Walk-Ons, there were several that were listed, including Asario in Cocoa Village, Too Cool Cafe in Indian Harbor Beach.
Cool Cafe has really good bread pudding.
One of my favorites and my personal suggestion was Hemingway's in the Oak Shopping Center. Literally had it 2 days before. That was some good bread pudding. But one of the things that I also wanted to talk to you about today, speaking of Krispy Kreme, is the story that you did last week that got a lot of attention.
You're gonna bring this up, aren't you?
The Krispy Kreme donut giveaway for people who have gotten their COVID vaccination.
That was not a story I did. That was something, I believe Greg Wiggins is the one who posted that in the Facebook group. That was, we did have a story. One of our reporters on the Treasure Coast did a story about it, but Greg Wiggins is the one who posted it on our Facebook group. And did that cause a kerfuffle or what? Oh my goodness. But basically,
almost as big as the cheesecake kerfuffle.
Right. Well, and the corn and the grits at Walk-Ons, did you?
That was that. Well, and when we're talking about, we're talking about a lot of chatter. That's particularly where I was talking about. They make their grits out of corn. Everyone makes their grits out of.
Yeah, it's kind of like the time at Auburn when there was a person of Northern origin who was in the cafeteria line, the War Eagle cafeteria line in front of me at Auburn, and asked if they could try a grit. It's like, well, sugar, you're not going to see what it tastes like from one grit.
Or the throwback to my cousin Vinny. Yeah. What is a grit?
You need to get at least one spoonful. But anyway, but I digress. Yes, Krispy Kreme Donuts right now is offering a free donut for anyone who comes and shows their COVID vaccination card. So you can do with that as you please. You can get your donut or not. I am not making any stating any opinions on this. This is just some information to do with as you please.
Our viewers in our 321 Flavor chat group are enjoying a person of Northern origin. Okay, so back on bread pudding, one of the other places that was listed in that bread pudding list was Meg O'Malley's. And we've all been waiting a very long time for Meg O'Malley's to reopen. When we did our last conversation about food, we had talked about the fact that they closed because they wanted to do some renovations. And then they ran into some issues when Hotel Melby was going in. They caused them to rework some sewer lines and stuff. And when they do reopen, that you're not going to see a whole lot of changes in the front of house. It's all mostly back of house stuff.
Right.
But we have an update.
Yes, they are now opening they're targeting April. So I've heard all kinds of rumors. They're not going to reopen. They've been shut down and they lost too much. No, none of that is true. They are reopening. They've been working. They've been doing a lot of work. I mean, and again, it's all inside. The doors are closed. The windows have had paper on them. You can't see what work they've been doing, but they have been working. And they're going to reopen, hopefully in April. I think one of the things that people don't understand with restaurants, and especially right now, anything involving construction and involving having to have work crews come in, it is really, really, really hard to get work crews right now. Supplies are low. It's just so, it just takes a little bit longer than it usually takes to get things done right now, and they're getting it done. So it's going to happen.
Right. Well, so I actually have a little bit of an update. So as you know, I'm becoming a regular at the bar, sitting on Saturdays at our favorite hangout, Murdoch's. And in Murdoch's this Saturday, I actually stopped and was talking to Amelia and said, okay, when is it happening? When is Murdoch's becoming Penny Whiskey? And when are you moving to the building on the west side of Cocoa Village that used to be Norman's? And she said, we will be in that building by the end of June. So there you have it. Amelia, the manager of Murdoch's, said they would be in that building by the end of June. I think they kind of have to be, because I believe when we had our conversation with Stevie a year and a half ago, when there were some lease issues, she said that they were good until June 2021.
Yeah.
June 2021 is when that lease on the current building of Murdoch's, the former Murdoch's grocery store in Cocoa Village, is up, and they have to be out by the end of June. So
yeah,
Amelia's like, nope, we're going to be over there. And I can tell you, looking at the plans and talking to Amelia and talking to the staff, they are all super hyped about moving.
Well, it's really
three
cool.
bars.
Three bars. I mean, they've done so much work on the Norman's building. I mean, it's going to be really pretty. They've, I don't know, they put up some natural wood and put up some tin, and I think they have a thing that looks kind of like a still. I don't know. It's just going to be a really cool place. I'm excited to see what they do with that spot. It's kind of like right now they're the south entrance to Cocoa Village. Now they're going to be basically the west entrance to Cocoa Village. So it'll be nice to see that location kind of spiffed up a little bit. Is that a word? Spiffed, jazzed up.
Spiffed. Well, and you just said that they were adding. You said they were adding some tin. With a name like Tin Whiskey, I would hope that they would have tin. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? Okay, so now is our time for a shameless plug. Not really shameless.
No, it's not shameless.
One of the things that we always get without fail every holiday, who's going to be open for this holiday? We have right now on our website a list of Easter dining options.
We do.
That is available only to subscribers.
Right.
You want to talk about that for a second?
Well, I mean, there's not much else to say. It's available to our subscribers. It's a list that includes names, addresses, phone numbers, websites, and a little short description of what the places are going to be doing. If you haven't gotten your Easter reservations already, you might want to hurry up because you're running out of time, and some of these places have been booked for weeks. Oh my goodness, there is a motion in my backyard. Sorry about that.
You got a bunny back there?
I either a squirrel or a bird or a lizard. I don't know, but whatever walks in front of the camera. But
well, one thing, what I was going to say is one thing that I think it's really important to know, and I mean, it's everybody kind of grumbles, it's only subscribers. Okay, it takes a lot of time to compile all of this information with the restaurants, the phone numbers, the addresses, what their menus are going to be, the prices, the websites, and make this complete list. And right now, a subscription to Florida Today, digital unlimited subscription to Florida Today is $1 for 3 months. $1, 3 months. $1. So I'm just throwing that out there. If you're interested in finding that stuff out.
Yes, and we did one of these lists once before, and we had, we'll put a thing out on the Facebook group, and we'll say, who's doing Easter brunch or who's doing Thanksgiving. And somebody came back and they're like, well, you have this on the Facebook group. All we have to do is find that post. And it's like, yeah, you're right. All you have to do is find the post. And then you have to figure out if the person who posted that worked there and really knows, or if there's somebody who thinks that maybe they passed by and saw a sign 2 years ago, or, if they have reservations, or what the phone number is, or what the hours are, and where so yes, you can, this is something that it's pretty much easily, you can find it. I wouldn't say easily, but this is information that you can find for yourself if you want to do that. But we'll do it for you if you want us to, and you can use our list. But unfortunately, it's not for free. I wouldn't say unfortunately, because I don't know about you, Rob Landers, but I like getting paid.
I like to eat, which is what we're all here to talk about, and this is my means of being able to pay for my food. So
I like to eat, and that reminds me of another place that has recently opened that I'm going to be doing a story on soon. It's called the Chicken Shack.
Where is the Chicken Shack? The
Chicken Shack. It is. You remember where North by South Bistro used to be? Do you remember that? It's in Satellite Beach. It's in the north end of, it's on A1A. It's like right after you get off the Pineda and you go one light, and it's just right there.
Oh,
And
okay. So in there where the sports page, I think that's the sports page. The sports bar was. Bucky was in there a million years ago.
Yes, but I don't think it's there anymore. But anyway, but yes, it's there. And it's this place called the Chicken Shack. And their first location is on Route 66 in Oklahoma. So now they have the Chicken Shack on A1A.
So now you can get your chips not only on Route 66, but on A1A.
Yes, you can.
Nice.
And they do broasted. Have you ever heard broasted chicken?
Broasted?
I thought I knew. Yeah, it's like roasted with a B. Broasted.
No,
they have these
roasted
big fryers. It's like a big fryer, and they use just peanut oil. And then he has this lid that he puts on it, so it's like a pressure cooker. So the chicken is cooked in this pressure cooker fryer broaster thing. I don't know. It looks dangerous. He says it's not. He says that, it's all very safe and contained. But holy moly, that chicken is good. It really good.
It sounds like, your crazy Uncle Harold out there on Thanksgiving Day with a turkey going into the fryer.
Except it really does. It has the lid, so it clamps down. And before they start it, they clamp it down. But some onion rings. I got a whole chicken. That's what I took home. And I paid for it. And that's what I told him. He was like, I'd like to give it to you. And I said, no, let me pay for it, because I pay for, I don't expect anybody to give me any free food. I want to pay for it. And so I brought a whole chicken home, and I will tell you, Mr. Leonard and I ate well that night. It was really good.
You know that I live a mile and a half away from you. You could have called. You had a whole chicken, chicken, Susie.
It may or may not have made 2 meals. I don't know how.
So whenever I get a rotisserie chicken from Publix, it makes a meal, and then I rip the rest of it apart and make chicken salad. Okay, so the reason why we're wrapping up in our 30 minutes or less, like we're Domino's Pizza today, is because you have an interview at 3:00 today to talk about, and we kind of want to get the input from you guys, our viewers, on this. Yeah. So the county commission recently passed or lifted an ordinance.
No. Let me back up.
Back up. Sorry.
Back it up, Rob. No,
okay.
They did not pass an ordinance. They are considering an ordinance. They're they're putting it out for public comment. So they should be scheduling a meeting sometime in the next few days.
Commissioner Tobias' proposal moved ahead and will now go to public comment. Okay.
Correct. Okay. But they are considering okaying 24-hour liquor sales at bars that are in unincorporated Brevard. So this is not downtown Melbourne. This is not Cocoa Village. This is not Titusville. This is not Indialantic, places like that. But in unincorporated Brevard, they are considering getting rid of the 2 a.m. last call. So bars could, how now how your bartender rings a little bell and says, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay
here.
Yeah, they don't have to do that anymore if they don't want to. They can stay open.
The only bar that's like really coming to mind for me, and like unincorporated, and I'm not even sure if they're an unincorporated or not, because it's a weird convergence of cities and municipalities, is like Lou's Blues, where it's in that weird angle of where like Melbourne Beachside and Indialantic don't meet.
And they are in unincorporated Brevard, and that's one of the places I'm going to be talking to Mike at Lou's Blues this afternoon. So I'm going to find out what he thinks about this. I'm also talking to the owners of a newer place called, and I got to say, this is my favorite new establishment name of 2020, 2021. The Social Distance Bar and Grill.
Are they like only putting so many chairs in the place?
I know no, but they actually open next door to the Chicken Shack. But They are also in unincorporated Brevard.
So that would be the South Patrick Shores area that's not
Yes.
incorporated.
Correct.
Not a municipality. Okay. Yeah, we've got lots of those little communities in Brevard County that people think are cities, but they're not. Like Merritt Island. Merritt Island is just all unincorporated Brevard County. It's not an actual city.
Yes. Well, and Vieira is all unincorporated Brevard.
It's not right. It's not actually a city. It's not
Vieira is
parts of it are part of Melbourne. Like, Suntree is not its own city. It's part of Melbourne. Right. Okay, so the last thing that we had to talk about today is
I want to add another thing in, though.
Go ahead.
Wait, before we move on from this, if there's anybody out there who has any thoughts on this 24-hour liquor sales, I would love to hear from you. So, in the comments.
Yep.
Give some thoughts in the comments.
You can actually, I'll do this real quick.
What are you doing?
I'm
Well, while you're doing that, can I tell you about another place that I visited recently?
Please, because I'm typing.
Okay. You remember Durangos?
Which one?
Well, there was one in Cocoa Beach, and then there was one with Cocoa Beach, Cape Canaveral. There was one in
right behind where we used to be. Right on Lickham, right behind where our office used to be.
Where our old office used to be. And then there was one in Titusville. And it was a chain, and they had, not a big chain, but they had 10 or 12 Durangos across Florida. And a few years back, they all closed, except the one in Titusville. So I was there last week talking to the owners of that Durangos, and they have, if you remember Durangos, it was always kind of dark and a little bit, I don't want to say dingy, because it was. It didn't feel like it was. It wasn't really.
It was a darker. It was a darker version of like a Texas road. Like the lights weren't as bright, and
Right. Well, this kind of just happened. I didn't even know about it, and it happened in 2019, and they just kind of very quietly, and I guess it wasn't quietly in Titusville, but for me, it was, I feel guilty that I didn't realize it was going on, but they used to be located in a hotel in Titusville near the interstate. Well, toward the end of 2019, they moved out of that hotel. They built a brand new, beautiful building. It's gorgeous. It's so modern and bright and airy, and they have outdoor eating spaces, and they have one outdoor eating space that is for smokers and one that is for non-smokers, which I just love, because I don't know, I don't like sitting in an outdoor eating spot that has somebody smoking next to me, but that's just me. Anyway, but I'm working on a story about Durangos right now, and it's just, if you haven't been to this Durangos, because they were open for a few months, then they got shut down by COVID. Then they were doing to go. They're open now. Beautiful place, right by the interstate on Highway 50, Cheney Highway. And you just have to go. If you haven't been, you just need to go and see it. They have a little train that circles the bar, and I don't know. I was just really impressed. And they do still they bring the loaves of bread to you. So that was my favorite part about Durangos.
Nice.
Was that loaf of bread.
Yes. Okay. So we have just a few minutes left, Suzy, and we want to introduce a new kind of interactive feature with our live chat here. We want to start bringing in local chefs so that our viewers can kind of hear directly from local chefs and hear what they have to say about food trends, what it's like working in Brevard County, their craziest customers, the requests they all hate to get. That kind of thing. And so what we want to know from you guys is, what local chef do you want to hear from? So Suzy has a lot of connections with the chefs in Brevard County. And so, once we hear from you and find out who you want to hear from, Suzy will get on the horn, see if we can get them set up, and then we'll have them right here in our next flavor chat with Rob and Suzy and guest. Suzy, we do have a question on our Facebook feed from the flavor chat room. What is prompting the 24-hour liquor change? Do we know?
I don't know the answer to that. the commissioners had some discussion about it. One of them said that he felt like it would curb some of the drunk driving because people wouldn't have to pound their last beverage at 1:55 and then leave. They could hang out for a bit. So I'm not sure. Some of the commissioners had said that they felt like this was a way of giving more freedom to business owners instead of taking freedom away from business owners. So, that's
so. All right. Well, that was the one big question that we had today. Suzy, enjoy your interview with
thank you.
with our local bar and restaurants. And if you have a suggestion on what chef you'd like to hear from, please leave it in the comments below. Until next time, Suzy, maybe in about 2-3 weeks.
I'm always here.
Okay.
Whenever you want to talk to me, Rob, I will be available.
Well, then keep watch on 321 Flavor and on Florida Today's Facebook page for our next Flavor Chat with Rob and Suzy. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Thanks, Rob. Good to see everybody.